Archeoloids is not enough. That's the premise of today's episode.
For the 7 people in the world that probably even remember what that is, let alone if one of them is listening to our podcast, which I doubt. Which, speaking of,
hey,
welcome to the 2 Decades Too Late podcast, gang. I'm Brad hanging out with Josh.
Hey. Can I do that?
Oh, man.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I think so.
Oh.
No. Yeah. But this is a podcast in which we rate and review an album that is turning 20 years old, mostly metal for whatever it's worth. I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah.
Josh and I each give a rating of 1 to 5 to 4 different parameters for an individual maximum point total of 20 and a combined maximum point total of 40. There we go. My energy drink is kicking and I feel substantially better.
Yes.
Yeah. Josh, what are we getting into here?
Things are looking up. We are taking a trip to New York, Nyack,
Hell yeah.
New York, to be specific, which is kind of fun to say. Nyack, New York. We can do that a lot.
Nyack, New York. Yeah. I'm not sure I've ever heard of that city until I looked at this band's wiki page.
New York's got a lot of cities that are just odd to say, like Coxsackie. Have you ever looked at how Poughkeepsie is spelled? Fuck that.
Probably at some point, but no, I don't remember. I'm sure it's terrible.
It is terrible. Depending on who you are, maybe not unlike today's band. We'll dive into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Today's band.
I'm excited to...
Yeah. Active for 10 years at this point. Formed in 1995. Crazy. 2 prior releases. This release came to us September 20th, 2005. And it is Coheed and Cambria's 2005 album. Good Apollo, I'm Burning Star 4, Volume 1, From Fear Through the Eyes of Madness. That wasn't that
stupid.
Hard to do in one breath.
No. But it is the first album we've done where the title of my on my note sheet took 2 lines. It's the first time that's happened, which didn't put me in a positive mindset for some reason. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain that, but it was hard not to immediately be judgy.
Yeah. This is so far the longest title of their previous CDs. The second stage, Turbine Blade in 2002, and then the slightly longer In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3 in 2003. Yeah.
And I have never listened to a Coheed and Cambria album until this. It's the first time. You've sent me songs, and they come up occasionally here and there. But I've never actually turned on one of their albums and listened to it before.
Super fair.
Yeah. And,
Yeah. And they're still kicking.
Yeah.
They were just on tour.
Yeah.
Friend of mine saw them. He's like, they put on a hell of a live show. But
I believe that.
He's like, they played a 16-song set, and I recognized 2 of the songs. I was like, yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I believe that shit wholeheartedly. And speaking of Coheed... Yes. Speaking of Coheed and Cambria and that particular album, which I'm just going to go ahead and say now, I will not be saying the title of this album going forward.
No.
Once is enough.
Yeah. Just call this 4.
We call it 4. Yeah. Okay, cool. We're on the same page. Good. But on 4,
which
we've got...
isn't the 4th album in the tetralogy, by the way.
I know. There's a lot going on here.
There's a lot going on.
Yes, there are. But we got Claudio Sanchez on lead and backing vocals, which that's an odd thing to say. I don't really. But rhythm and
vocals.
lead guitars.
Just be guitars, yeah.
Keyboards and piano. We've got Travis Stever.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, good old Stever. That's a good hockey nickname. And I just passed the puck over to Stever.
Yep.
But lead rhythm guitars, lap steel guitar, mandolin, backing vocals. Michael Todd, bass guitar. He got into some stuff.
Oh, yeah?
He left the band because of heroin the first time, and then he
Oh,
came back to the band and got kicked out because of armed robbery.
damn.
Yeah. Which is sad because he is very good at bass.
Yeah.
Like, so good. And then Josh Eppard
Yeah.
on drums, keyboard, percussion. It's too. This puts me into the
Programming,
headspace that you
backing
had
vocals.
for Thrice. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, whatever you got into with Thrice, reading this thing, this is kind of where I'm landing with this band. I'm not going to get into the additional musicians because it's annoying.
It is.
But there is a didgeridoo, I guess. I don't remember hearing it.
I don't either, but I'm glad it's there and credited.
Yeah, sure. I guess give credit where it's due.
Yeah, of note,
Yeah.
Josh Eppard is the brother of Joey Eppard, and they were both in the band, the progressive rock, progressive metal band 3, who I also kind of like a good bit.
I had no idea he was in 3. I've never really listened to them apart from you because I know you're into them, and it comes up. But like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, how about that?
Man, while we're on personnel, you remember you asked me, like, I told you that the next album of Coheed and Cambria's was the one that I thought was good. I originally thought it was the Chris Penny one.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, is he on this one? Is this? And I was like, no, he's not. But he did write all of the drums for the next album.
Yeah. Yeah, he couldn't do it because of a contract situation of some kind with I'm assuming with his Dillinger contract, he couldn't go do this. Did you see who they got though?
That's what I was going to ask you.
Holy shit, that's
how cool
bonkers.
is that?
Taylor fucking Hawkins, which rest in peace, my guy.
No kidding.
What a talented motherfucker that guy was, unfortunately. Anyway, that's so cool, though. Yeah, I learned that during this morning, actually. I learned that
same.
when I was going through stuff. Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you now that I don't have a lot for the track-by-track on this at all. I mean, there were some where I just didn't even bother. Because at a certain point, I don't know how many times I can go, yep, they did a da-da-da, da-da-da, do-da-da, ba-ba, ba-ba-ga, ba-ba, every song.
Scroodly-doo.
I mean, it's wild how similar 70 minutes, which, by the way, that's too long.
It is too long. It is too long.
Yeah.
Let's talk about like Coheed and Cambria in general.
Yeah. Indeed.
I do not have the full understanding of what it is that they're based on.
No.
Reading this wiki page and reading kind of the background of the story or the concept of this album or the tetralogy as a whole, it's just like the premise of all of it is just an absolute batshit word salad of things that's vaguely science fiction related.
I'm glad you said that because the more I tried to learn, the less I understood.
Yeah, it was just
not the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking gross. Like, I mean, I'm sure I know people are into it. So, no, far be it from me to tell you not to be. It's fine. I mean, this band was fucking massive in 2005.
Very large, yes. Due in large part because of the In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3. It blew them up.
Absolutely. And, like, something fierce as well.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, maybe next to Story of the Year, and this is the biggest album probably that we've listened to for this year so far.
I think so. It peaked at Billboard number 7 on the Billboard 200.
Yeah, and sold like 1 million copies, which is insane for something this... Well, I want to say this niche, but... I don't
The
know
emo
if
scene
it
was
is really.
pretty big, and like they landed pretty solidly in that in 2003.
Yeah, I agree.
This album was their big label, Columbia Records, also Equal Vision Records. But this was the big one.
Yeah, this is the first major label debut. Came out same day with a graphic novel.
Yep.
Which I will get to why I have a kind of problem with how this album goes if you're gonna release a graphic novel as well. I don't it seems like I don't understand why you have to have the last 4 songs be as long, if not longer, than some of the albums we've actually reviewed.
Yeah, each one is over 7 minutes.
Yeah, you're talking a half an hour just in the last 4 tracks.
Yep.
And I understand they're telling a story, but if you're going to release something in a medium in which is solely storytelling, the whole point of a graphic novel is to tell a story. Right. Do you also need to be so heavy-handed in your storytelling on the album to the point where you need the last 4 songs to be a half hour long?
Probably not. Maybe that's why. So I actually thought the album had this is a stupid way to say this, but I can't think of better words. It's got too much music on it. The first track is 2 minutes of just instrumental intro. And then the second track, Always and Never, it's a very, very music heavy with a little bit of lyrics. Also the meow. Why? The meow catches me off guard.
Same. That's a creepy as fuck song to me too, because there's a child laughing in the background.
It's actually Claudio's niece.
I saw that. Which, weird to put your niece in a the lyrics aren't positive.
There's a lot of stabbing and murder.
Yeah. Also,
a fair amount of knife play.
Yeah, a lot of death, just kind of in general.
Yeah.
So you have track 1, Keeping the Blade, to your point, which is an instrumental, which, by the way, if you're going to get on a major label and have, I'm assuming, just a Mary Poppins bag worth of money to throw at this thing, why didn't they actually pay someone to play though? Yeah, it sounds bad. It sounds fake. And I'm like, what?
Danny Elfman's probably right next door.
Or any number of folks. There would have been people. Black Dahlia Murder got people to play orchestral pieces.
Blood and Ink, get the fuck out of here.
Absolutely. And if they can do it with probably the complete and utter opposite budget.
Right.
I don't get that here. I mean,
shoestring would be too robust a description for Black Dahlia Murder's budget.
I would agree. So I don't really get that. But Keeping the Blade is so completely and utterly pointless. You could have just started with Always and Never, and I actually would have liked that more.
Yeah.
I don't know why you need 2 2-minute tracks in a row that are essentially intros. I don't really get it.
And then Welcome Home, the third song, which is actually probably the first major song, 6 minutes long, sounds huge, and then has a droning whoa for a lot of the end of it. But that's track 3. That should be an end track.
Yes. Again, I never listened to the album, but Welcome Home has absolutely no business being at that track. 0. No. Now, it's hard to say where it should go when the last 4 are what I've already kind of laid out.
Right.
Because if you put Welcome Home at the very end, it would just get lost in the sauce, I think, because who would even... I mean, I have to be very honest that not even through track 12, by track 12, I was done.
Yeah.
And then I go, I have everything left to do.
Yeah, close the album with Welcome Home and then have the 4-part be another something album else. Or a dual disc. Give me the option to break this shit up.
Yeah. And then to release the graphic novel, knowing that pissed me off. It made me like the album less. Because I'm like, wait, you had this whole other option to tell me this story? You know what I mean? And so I didn't need you to do it here. Apparently, you gave me the second choice. which I would prefer probably.
Well, I mean, you do
I don't know.
probably need the visual medium to sort out whatever the fuck is going on with the story.
Yeah, it's so convoluted. It's unbelievable. There's a fine line between like intelligently thought out storytelling and cohesive, like, you know, making a conceptual line go through multiple
Right.
different pieces of music. That's fine. But there's a fine line between that and just being douchebags. I'm not saying that that's the case here necessarily. I mean,
Right.
they seem like cool dudes.
Yeah.
They're really
Talented musicians.
talented musicians, all those things. I get it. And sometimes you're so talented that this is what you do. And maybe it's not even, I'm going to do this thing.
Right.
And maybe it's just, no, I've got so many ideas that this is just what the result of my prowess is.
Right.
So I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just pointing, I think it's worth mentioning. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they're towing a thing here. And
They are towing a line for sure.
yeah.
Like, I get, like, creating a realm. It's like,
Yeah.
to Patton Oswald's point about, like, his first realm and
Yeah.
then the My Little Pony bit, and it's hilarious. But, like,
It is.
this is too much. This is definitely, like, bordering on too much.
You're gilding the lily pretty
Yeah.
hard here.
Yeah.
So we got to track 3 at Welcome Home, which you've heard.
Yeah, it was on Rock Band. You've heard it.
I don't remember it being 6 minutes long. And
I don't either.
and I don't remember the last 3 minutes just being woes. Maybe not 3 minutes. It's
Maybe
probably,
they cut it a little bit for the...
maybe. But
Because you
man,
can.
even for... Also, it sounds nothing like the rest of the album at all.
It doesn't.
And I
The
mean that not
production's
just...
different, too.
It sounds like a metal song, and not a single other thing on this album sounds like that.
No.
I mean, you have those it's like a completely different guitar tone almost. I mean, at least that's how it sounds.
It's
maybe that's a
jarring.
me thing.
Coming after Always and Never. And going into
then-
10-speed.
Yes, that was yeah, you're right. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I do think I've heard more of the songs on this than I would have guessed.
Probably.
Like I definitely heard track 4, 10 speed.
Yep.
And I definitely
Also on
heard
Rock
track
Band.
5, Crossing the Frame. And I even think I've heard The Suffering before.
You've heard The
track
Suffering.
9.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, those 3 sounded very, familiar and exactly the same.
Yes.
They are the same song, all 3.
Apart
And most
from
of this album.
Welcome Home.
Yeah. And I would say track 7, Once Upon Your Dead Body, is very different.
It's the poppy-est, I'd say.
Yeah, or maybe if it's not very different, it's a different shade of the same color
Yeah.
or something. Maybe I would put it. Wake Up, though, is very, very different. I don't like it, but it is very different. To their credit, it doesn't sound the same as everything else at track 8. It's almost like a ballad,
Oh, yeah.
strangely.
I was trying to place it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at this point. So we got track 6, Apollo 1, The Writing Writer.
Yeah.
I hate that song title.
Well, they do it again, too, with The Lying Lies.
Yeah, and that's track 10. Well, The Lying Lies and Dirty Secrets of Miss Erica Court.
Yep. New character.
Sure, why not? Yeah. I'm not already just racking my brain. It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube while also trying to listen to music. And I don't...
That'd be tough.
To me.
Yeah.
That would be tough. I'm sure it's really easy for some people, though.
Probably,
People really got that shit down.
They do.
What have we missed? Oh, so we're at track 11, Mother May I. Again, I will say this band does a good job of wearing their influences on their sleeve, which I do appreciate. Like,
yeah.
Obviously they're into Thin Lizzy. Obviously they're into Iron Maiden. Obviously they're into Rush.
Yes. Rush and Queensryche are here for sure.
Absolutely.
Actually,
and then
to
you get
that point, one of the reviews, I think it was AllMusic, of course, is like, it's one of the best metal licks that 1985 never made.
Bad time to take a drink. That's awesome and very accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, you get to track 12. That's the start of the just beating a dead horse.
Yes.
The Willing Well 1, Fuel for the Feeding End. Jesus, just dripping in condescension.
Yeah.
Track 13, The Willing Well 2, From Fear Through the Eyes of Madness. That is just Rush worship.
Yes.
That song. I mean, it is essentially a Rush song. And yet still basically sounds like the rest of the album.
Today's top 3.
Awesome. 14 and 15, more of The Willing Well. I don't even, whatever. Yeah. It's
The Willing Well 3, Apollo 2 now, The Telling Truth. Because we went from Apollo 1, The Writing Writer. Now we're embedding subplots.
If you have to put 2 colons in a song title, you need to calm the fuck down. I'm just saying, that's too many.
What I swear I just saw like a game ranks where there were it was a Star Wars game. He's like, we are 4 levels deep in game titles here.
I don't remember that. That's really good though.
It was like Star Wars, like Dead Jedi, Rogue, Asshole. It was just The Bandit Trap.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome as hell. That sounds like a Falcon thing for sure.
It was.
Awesome. I love that guy. Yeah, then finally track 15, The Willing Well 4, the final cut.
It's the last track.
It is that. Yep. The ending is funny. Like, the fact that it goes into, like, a secret agent sounding keyboard note into a bluegrass thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as fun as that may be, my God, what are we doing here?
Right. Already an hour in.
Yeah. 70
like, that's
minutes.
almost like, hey, thanks for sticking around this whole time. Here's some fun, finally.
Yeah, it's essentially the Porky Pig, That's All, folks. Just musically. Which I guess if you don't know Herculoids, you... Yeah. So, those are the songs. It's a lot of them.
That is a lot of them.
It's essentially 2 albums worth of material. I don't really know.
And a graphic novel, if we haven't mentioned.
Sure, let's just beat a dead horse just over and over and over. So, yeah, honestly, that's all I've got for the tracks. I literally have nothing else to add.
Yeah, there really isn't anything else, honestly.
No.
Welcome Home was also featured in the trailer for the CGI animated movie 9, which I actually enjoy. It's a good rainy day watch.
I agree. It's a solid movie.
Yeah. It makes as much sense as anything else.
Yes. What a glowing review.
Yep.
Never people are
go check it out. It exists.
To watch this shit. It's a movie.
You can watch it. It is a moving picture.
I don't know. We could get into the review.
Let's
I have
do that.
No idea. Yeah. Awesome. You know what? We are way more lockstep on this than I would have expected. I don't know why. I don't even know what your opinion of this band is. I know
I'm going to blow your pants right off when we start talking about it.
Hell yeah.
Socks?
Review.
Easy, Josh.
Socks. All right, Josh, we are reviewing Coheed and Cambria 4. I'm not saying the title. It's already been brought up.
Yep.
If you would like to read that half a novel of a title anyway, please go ahead and knock yourself out. But what did you think of the artwork for this album? But you know what? I have a question first.
Yes.
I've seen versions of this. I've seen a version with just the Roman numerals and nothing else. And I've seen a version with the band name, the album title, and the Roman numerals. Which one did you score?
I have not seen just the Roman numerals.
Okay.
But it looks like here on their wiki page, there is a black backgrounded version and a red backgrounded version.
So definitely the black
version,
right?
Yeah. Okay. And I think I've seen it most with the band name.
Okay. What did you think of the artwork with that cleared up?
I gave it a 3. It doesn't really resonate with me as an album cover or as a graphic. It's extremely well composed. I will say that everything's kind of in its box. Like the serif on the Roman numeral is basically the bounding for the logo or the band's name up above. And then you've got the extremely long title that kind of just fit nicely. It's nicely justified within that bounds. So like from a typographical layout perspective, it's extremely well done.
Yeah, the formatting is excellent.
Yes.
I agree with you on that.
As an album art, it's a 3. It just kind of leaves me, for as much as they did everywhere else to tell me what the fuck this story's about, to leave it off here, and for this not to be the 4th installment of the tetralogy, like, come on.
I mean, all that said, to your point, it is well composed, but yeah, I'm giving it a 3. What the fuck does that cover have to do with this album? It had nothing. It doesn't even, like, give the feeling that the album has. It seems dark and brooding, but most of the songs are, like, prog rock versions of bubblegum pop rock.
Yeah.
Like, and so I have no idea why the fuck that album cover is what it is. I mean, I almost want to give it worse. It's just the formatting of it is very satisfying, and that's what's getting it a 3. Otherwise, it'd be like a 2, because I don't know if you're gonna be that douchey about. I don't want to say douchey. That's harsh. Right. I don't mean it that harshly. I just Anyway,
this would be more well placed on a Stephanie Meyer's novel.
Yeah, that's interesting. Good call. Yeah. I agree.
Stephanie Meyer?
All right.
I'm sticking with it. I'm going confidently.
Yeah, it sounds right. Yeah. I'm not going to argue with you. Suck on that, internet. All right. 3s all around. What did you think of the production? I have thoughts, but not a lot, frankly.
I gave it a 3. So Welcome Home is on the album, so you cannot ignore that fact. Now the sound of Keeping the Blade, it's okay, but to your point, it does sound like this was not done by an actual orchestra, which is fine. I don't need that necessarily, but then you go into track 2, Always and Never, and it's just, the guitar is so clean. His vocals are so clean. Everything's so clean and crisp.
Yeah.
And then you get into Welcome Home, and it's muddy. It sounds like it was a previously recorded track, like from 2 years ago, that they just wedged into this album for no reason. And then, so I told you about the follow-up album, and it's so much better. It's noticeably better 2 years later. So like, I can't say like Then versus Now gets any credit, because just 2 years later they do so much better. I didn't look at who produced that, but probably the same guys. Up to this point, they had kind of gone with Michael Birnbaum and Chris Bittner, who also produced some of Three's albums, and Bad Brains, weirdly.
That is odd. What, Chris Bittner did?
Michael Birnbaum.
Or the Michael... Okay. Chris Bittner sounds familiar. Have we talked about him before?
May have.
It's interesting, because I don't know why his name stuck out to me, but it definitely did. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, I guess.
Rick Rubin did the next album, coincidentally.
Man, everyone who was anyone in the early 2000s really wanted to record with Rick Rubin.
I guess.
And from what I understand, almost none of them were happy about it. All right, well, okay, cool. So I mean, there's some really good stuff in the production here.
There is.
I think
didgeridoo, really.
Right, exactly. I think the bass and the kick drum play really, really well together, which is important to me. I think the bass tone is very, very good. And yeah, I almost would give it a 4 objectively, but subjectively it's way too vocal forward for me. I don't like albums that are that vocal forward. I'm not a fool. I understand why this album is vocal forward.
Right.
He's the whole thing.
He's the whole deal, yep. What would you say the impact at the time was?
1, I've got nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing. It's a 1. I got nothing.
Yeah.
What about you?
I gave it a 2 because I definitely do remember distinctly people being like Coheed and Cambria. Coheed.
Yeah.
And you know, they Welcome Home and 10 Speed were on Rock Band, and we played the shit out of those songs on Rock Band.
That's true.
I don't know that I necessarily sought out anything else, but like they were definitely around. So
yeah,
I gave them a 2 for that.
You know what? I'll give them a 2. You talked me into it because of the Rock Band thing, I guess. And to be clear, I can't say we played them to death because the songs were so good. We played them to death because the instrumentation was so interesting and fun to do.
It's fun as fuck, yeah.
Yeah, all right. 2, boy. This is the sleepiest. I mean, what can you do? It is what it is. This is the format we've chosen to go with.
Yes, we have.
But there you go. Sometimes this is gonna happen, gangs. How much did you enjoy listening to it today?
Before I tell you that, I'll give you the review scores. So All Music gave it a 4 out of 5. Users gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Sputnik Music gave it that's the wrong link. I didn't update that. Rolling Stone gave it a 3 out of 5. User score was a 4.5 out of 5. So people love themselves some Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah.
This album in particular, at 71 minutes long, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I really find it enjoyable. It's not a 5. I listen to it quite a bit. I also listened to the follow-up album even more, oddly. So I was starting to get them confused a little bit with which track was stuck in my head. But it's fun. And if you don't take this album and all of its entirety in a vacuum, then it can be a little bit more enjoyable.
That's fair. Yeah. I think
poppy, it's proggy, it's a good time for a lot of the time.
You're not wrong. It's hard to be mad at it.
Right.
It's hard to hate because of how upbeat it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, how can you really hate something that's... So I think if I was giving this a score based on something I want to turn on while I'm working on something, and I want some positive music playing while I'm, going through a spreadsheet or something stupid that I do at work, then I would rate it a 4 with you probably.
Yeah.
It was doing this that bumped it to... I almost wanted to give it a 2, but it's a 3 just it deserves a 3. Again, it is so upbeat and positive sounding despite the lyrical content that it is hard to be mad about.
Right.
It's just...
No one's giving Roland Chan, super positive Asian, a 2.
Right, yes, exactly. Dude, I didn't notice at first the last 4 tracks were what they were.
Yeah.
And so when I'm doing my notes and look up at Spotify and I see that, I was so disheartened. I felt just like I got punched in the stomach. I was like, oh my God, no. It can't be this. It can't be a half hour of music
Oh yeah.
with 4 tracks.
Oh yeah.
But it was.
It was. Let's just zero in on that real quick, because without those, it's still 40 minutes, which is a decent length for an album.
Some would say that it's almost too long
already. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to shit talk this band too much. I mean, we've kind of already said it. I don't hate them, but it is what it is. It's hard to get past some of my issues. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Yeah,
but
totally.
Anyway,
it's hard to get completely bought in.
Yeah, but they're still kicking it. So I might be a little bit on an island. People seem to love them, so that's fine. And good they
either that or they're just doing their thing, whether people like it or not.
True enough. All right, so for scores for this album, Josh, you landed on a 12, and I landed on an 11 for a 23, and yeah, that's.
I'd say the album as a whole is slightly better than that. I don't know if I'd go as high as even 30, but it's definitely worth listening to.
Yeah, it's not bad. Again, turn it on. I'll probably actually listen to this while I do shit. Like, I'm not against it. I just don't. Because, I mean, you know what I'd really love? I'd love for them to release a version of this that's just drums and bass.
That'd be sick.
I would love that. Because, man, that rhythm section is killer. They are very, very good. All right.
Hey, so the Omnific, if you hear this, cover this album.
Yeah. All right, so what we do at this point, generally, we pick our favorite songs, which will then go on to our TDTL Favorites 05 playlist on Spotify. There is an 04 playlist from last year, should you
check
be
it
interested.
out.
But Josh, what is your favorite song on 4?
All of them. You've got to put all of them on there. All 71 and a half minutes.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I really want to ruin the one listener we still probably have to that thing.
Yep. That's fair. All right. Boy, it's hard to pick from so many, like, which part of the Willing Well or how many Apollos do you want here?
Yeah.
My favorite is Apollo 1, The Writing Writer. Just... It's kind of a long intro, which I didn't realize until I selected it as my favorite, and I was like, "Oh fuck, that's part of it too." But it's fine.
Long intro.
It's a long intro. Overall, I just like the tone of the song.
It's a little darker.
It's a little darker. It kind of shifts through some. It's got a lot of texture to it. I'll say. It doesn't quite go far enough to like make Welcome Home feel like it should be part of the album still, but it helps a little bit. It's got that like I'm burning star for. It's catchy. It's got a hook.
It does. And they're good at hooks. I'll give them that.
They're good at hooks.
I will choose track 4, 10 Speed of God's Blood and Burial. Yeah. It's a solid kind of pop oriented hard rock song. So
with a little talking part where you can make out the word bicycle.
Yeah. And then there's a little scream at the end, which is something, I guess. He's not very good at that, I must say. Incredible singer, though. Crossing the Frame was my second runner-up because of the claps alone.
Oh, I do love a good clap.
The claps. But yeah. I'll go with 10 Speed. So those 2 songs will be on our playlist. I hope I didn't shit talk this unnecessarily. I certainly didn't mean to. It's kind of not. I don't know if this is for me. I just don't know if it's.
There's some things here that we needed to talk about.
Yeah, agreed.
20 years later, we can look back a little retrospectively and be like, you know what? Maybe don't do some of these things.
Sure. Yes. But we will put those on there. Check us out on Instagram if you'd like, TDTL_podcast.
Yeah. So with that, definitely. He's been Brad. I've been Josh, and we've been 2 decades too late.